although we've been through a lot over the last, since you're born, and I haven't been the father that you really needed growing up. I made a lot of mistakes, and I recognize those mistakes today, and I have shared that with you, but there's something else that I want to share with you, and that is how much I recognize how you're growing and growing up and taking responsibility and really growing into the adult that I'm really proud of. And I know I don't say that enough. You're a beautiful human being with challenges, but I'm learning to appreciate them and be there for you in the way that you need me. Although sometimes it's difficult for me. And I just want you to know from me to you that I love you and will always love you. And you mean a lot to me. And I don't want you to forget that. I want to work on trying to express this more to you. With admiration, Abba. Dad. Nobody's freezing.
It's very hard for me to write this letter. Dear Mom, this is a letter of appreciation and also a letter of apology because we've lived together for so many years that I'm always struggling for distance more than closeness. And I think because of that, you don't get the appreciation that you really deserve. Because I find myself irritated a lot. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you for being a very, very important part of our family, for being supportive of me and my husband and my children, for being willing to do anything that you can to help take care of them and to be there for our family. And it's sad for me that now that the kids are bigger, the romance of having a grandmother live with you has dissipated, and you were always the one who did like all the enrichment activities with them, and that peters away once they're teenagers. They're not really interested anymore. So I apologize for your marginalization when you really are very important and essential. I love you and thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Dear mother-in-law, this is a letter of gratitude to Hashem for bringing you into my life. From the moment I met you, you gave me unconditional love. You loved everything I did. You made me feel on top of the world. It's partially because of you that I married Dov. But that's true. What I saw in him is the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And the way you didn't show anger, the way you were patient, the way you treated other people was just something unbelievable. Everybody loved you, but I really had you. You took care of my kids when I wasn't feeling good. You took care of my kids when I went on vacation. You were always there for me. And I only hope that I can be the kind of person that you taught me to be. I think you knew how hard it was for me and my mom. That's why this is a letter of gratitude to Hashem, that He gave me this family to get into with cousins and brothers and sisters, and so I didn't have to feel so alone. And you were the star of the show. You're really the light of my heart. I miss you. I'm sorry that you had to have your last few years with Alzheimer's. But we all did our best to take care of you. And even in your last days, you laughed and made jokes, and you're just an unbelievable person. So thank you. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Mom. I miss you. Love, Lizzie.
Okay, I'll try. It's a bit different for me because I speak Yiddish to my husband, to my father. So no, that I can't do. No, I can't. Okay. No. That would really just throw me over completely. That would be like, no. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah. This is enough. Okay, so, I really want to thank you for the person who you are and for being there for me. Most importantly, I want to thank you for listening to me as an adult, to have been able to hear criticism and to have taken it in and not refuted it, to have heard and accepted and embraced it, and to have tried your best to change things, to acknowledge that I was okay to be feeling the way I am, and to not deny it. The amazing strength that takes is so clear to me to see, especially now that I have older children myself, and I see how difficult it is to parent, and I recognize your strength of being accepting, your humility to hear, your greatness of just being there, hearing it, accepting it, and being able to openly make change, to acknowledge that you have made mistakes. It was such a powerful experience for me, and it changed so much for me. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Tati.
Son. Son.
I love you. It's
Dear Rachel, the fact that I chose you to write this letter to tells me how important you are to my life. As much as I have a limited relationship with you now, you mean a lot to me. I want to use this letter to express to you that I wish that things could be different. I wish we could have a close, loving relationship. And it's sad for me that we can't. I've tried over the years to make things work. And I know that you feel that it's all my fault and my problems. And I think that that's a very big reason why we can't share closeness. I wish that you would be able to see your part, things you need to work on, and I pray for you all the time. You should have a good life and happy life and get the help that you need. Really utilize your incredible talents. You're a really brilliant, talented person. And I wish you could utilize those strengths more. And I really love you. I shared we shared a lot of our childhood together, and I cherish a lot of the moments we had together.
I miss you.
I miss those times, and I wish we could still have them. And I know I've come to a place of peace to know that that's not possible right now. And I'm still holding on to the hope that maybe one day things could be different. With love, Chaya.
Dear Ayala, I'm really not sure where to start. So much was left unsaid, and yet I'm not quite sure what to say. Our friendship ending was the most painful breakup I've ever been through. And you know that I've been through many painful breakups. I cannot believe that it's been almost 9 years since we were friends. I can't believe how much I've missed out on and how much you've missed out on. Throughout life, I've grown apart from so many people, yet I never thought that we would grow apart. I still think about you all the time and wonder about you and what you're up to and what you would say and what you would think. And I still don't really quite understand what happened. I don't really understand how you can be someone's soul sister and then become a total stranger. It is so beyond painful that we are only 2 hours apart in the same country, and yet we have not spoken in so many years. I'm also so grateful for the friendship that we had, even though it's so painful that you're not in my life right now. And I'm so grateful and I feel so lucky that we had so many years of being close, of understanding each other, of pulling each other through tough times, and of being known by each other and understanding each other, even though we've always been so different. I miss you, I think about you, and I hope that you and your family are doing well. And I hope that maybe one day we can reconnect. Love, Rachie.
Dear Gloria, I'm angry at you. I have a lot of resentment toward you. That for a long time I have told myself not to care. I try really hard not to care. I try really hard to tell myself that this is just who you are. You're not somebody that knows how to keep in touch with people or keep contact. I jokingly told myself when you moved that that would be the end of the friendship. And that's what actually happened. And that might be who you are, someone who doesn't keep contact with people. But I feel like I devoted myself to you and to your family and to your kids and to our friendship for years. I made you a priority in my life, and I felt it was reciprocal. And I feel like I've been proven that it's not. And that energy was devoted to someone undeserving. Because I really loved your family, like my own, to the point that I put you in my will to take care of my kids if anything were to happen to us. And all it took was a move an hour away for you to just completely drop us. And I have to change my will. And I really want to not care. But I do. I can't help it. And I think the worst part is that I have expressed this to you. And you seemed to absorb it, but nothing's changed. So I have to come to terms with it. And maybe this letter is me coming to terms with it. I'm not signing off. I don't know how to sign off. But I'm done.
You sign up.
I'm done. That's my sign off.
Are you ready?
I changed the person.
I'm concerned about the clock and we have to talk.
So it will be another day.
Okay. What was it like?
I didn't even do it and I was very evocative.
Very visceral.
Huh?
Very visceral.
Very
Visceral.
visceral, yeah.
Felt it in my body.
Easier
I feel in
than
my
empty-
body.
Personally, I found it easier than the thought of the empty chair. It was easier to I tried to do the empty chair myself, for myself, because I knew that I had to work through some of that.
When I did this as a protagonist, the trainer, it wasn't Jim Sachs, it was somebody else. Trainer insisted I speak to my father in Yiddish. It was very different, more powerful,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but still, it was protection for me not to do it English.
Yeah.
Because it meant
Yeah,
that I
obviously.
kept it one step below the real reality of what it
Just
was.
figure out what you were protecting. Okay?
Yeah, and also English is actually, a lot of words are very hard to find the right word in English. So if I was speaking to an American, it probably take a lot more effort to get the right word to express what I want to say.
What was it like? Visceral? What else?
I found it to be, mine wasn't so emotional, but it was very enlightening. I thought I was feeling one thing, and I realized as I was speaking that that was not that. I was feeling something very different. I think saying it out loud made it that I couldn't lie to myself about what was going on.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, if I wanted to say something, I realized much more than the lie. It's in my head, I didn't realize it, but as I tried to say it, I went, no, that's not accurate, actually.
Came and liked me. What else?
Focusing on gratitude, like, makes you feel like there are always two sides to things, but the gratitude part just made me feel so much more, it made it feel so much more alive and so much more remembering the feelings, and I didn't pay so much attention to the things that bothered me because I was focusing on the good.
It's powerful when you speak to somebody and say things that bother you as well. And some of you did. And the hurt comes to the surface. Imagine saying this in front of a spouse who didn't know that you had such strong feelings. Now, there was no need for me to double for anybody here. You were pretty candid, you know. But you can double for somebody who is not as sophisticated as the people in this group, you know. Any other comments?
I have so much more to say.
What's that?
Saying it, my letter could go so much more, you know, as now, you know, a lot of more things that I have to say are coming up.
You can write it, doesn't mean you have to send it, you could if you want, but once you started a process, you could write it, do it for yourself.
Do you have couples write the letter to each other
Yeah,
in a session?
yeah. And
Say
sometimes
it.
just what they appreciate. Now, the second thing on Gottman's list is, after love maps, is fondness and admiration system. So what do you appreciate about your spouse? And a better question is, what do you need more of? That was one of my heroes way back, Lazarus, who would ask that of couples. What do you need? What would you like more of? What do you need more of? Because it's a positive. It's not a negative. It's not saying what's missing. It's saying what would you like more of? Which means you're really acknowledging what is or was there in some quantity at some point. 105. We're running over. Okay, folks. Take care.